Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I made these masks from the movie Beetlejuice. If you haven't seen the movie Beetlejuice, then I highly recommend that you go check that out. But without further ado, are you ready to get started? Let's go. So here's all the things that I have gathered, mostly from Dollar Tree. This is some styrofoam blocks from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use these to make the nose for Adam's mask. So basically what I'm doing is just hot gluing them together. And then I'm going to shave them down to a cone shape. Obviously, this would be an easier step if you went to a regular craft store, not Dollar Tree, and bought one of the styrofoam cone things already like that. But I was just trying to stick to Dollar Tree, super cheap stuff. So after it was shaved down into a cone shape, I hot glued it to a knight's helmet, which was also from Dollar Tree, and I also cut a groove out here so it would fit along the face plate thing. So this sheet is a bed sheet I got from Goodwill, our thrift store. It's a skin colored sheet, so that's kind of what I was looking for. And because it was a sheet, you know, quite a large piece of fabric, I was able to have plenty to work with and have plenty left over for future projects. So basically what I did with the sheet for Adam's mask is wrap it around the knight's helmet and the cone nose, or whatever. I tried to keep it clean and all of the fabric tight and everything, and then I hot glued it down to the insides. So this is a stocking. It came in a pack of 2 from Dollar Tree. Black, like pantyhose type material. If you stretch it, it's kind of see-through. I used this for the eyes, and I also used it for some of Barbara's mask too. So after I cut out the eye shape, I cut holes. I made sure that the holes were a little bit smaller than the actual eye size were, so I wouldn't, you know, have to overstretch the fabric when hot gluing it down. I used a lot of hot glue in this project. If you are very proficient with sewing, you can totally sew this together, but hot glue is quick and easy for me. Unfortunately, I had to cut the head piece out a little bit because my husband's head is a little bit bigger than mine, so in order for it to fit properly on him, I had to do that, so it would be more of a face mask instead of like a whole head mask kind of thing. So in order to affix the mask to your face, I also purchased these, they came in a pack of 3 stretchy headband things that I hot glued together after cutting them in half, so there would be a band to hold it onto your head. For Adam's little like hand thing on top of his head, I used a glove, also from Dollar Tree. Basically stuffed it with stuffing or cotton. Then I used a scrap piece of helmet as the base. Obviously, I didn't leave it white. I painted it. I tried to match as close as I could to what the fabric was. However, I couldn't get it perfect, so that's okay. I wound up putting like a contour around the top of his forehead kind of thing. So this is his teeth that made out of hot glue. So basically did sort of like a few bubbles in a line with hot glue. And then after I got my desired length, I went back over them and kind of indented them a little bit to give them sort of a teeth texture looking kind of thing. So in the mask, there are folds in the fabric. I did that on purpose because that's what it looks like in the movie. But I used those folds to kind of make a sort of lip for the teeth. And then glued everything down flat. Now it's time for Adam's fingers. This is a pack of eyeballs from Dollar Tree. They are a pack of 12, so that worked out perfect for this project because 10 eyeballs for Adam's fingers and then 2 for Barbara's face, mouth thing. So what I did with the eyeballs is I used hot glue to kind of give them a texture. Once I was done with that, I painted them red and they were pretty much good to go. So before we got started, I went ahead and cut her helmet in half. I used helmets for both of them. But the piece that I cut off, I wound up using for the upper part of Barbara's, like the roof of the mouth kind of thing for support. I also made sure to hot glue the hinges of the faceplate down so it wouldn't move around. This is foam board that I got from Dollar Tree also. Everything's from Dollar Tree, of course. So I basically kind of free drew a shape that I felt was accurate enough. Once I got that shape cut out, I traced over it. I very carefully kind of curved it up a little bit because, you know, the roof of your mouth has like a curve to it, so I tried to do that. And I hot glued it down to that support area, fortifying it in many places. So because I'm using a knight's helmet, I need room for my face to go in it properly. So I had to cut out a little like groove area in the foam so I could actually put my face in there. So once again, I used the same stockings to kind of make the black part inside the mouth. This is also going to serve as a means of sight once the mask is on. I made sure to pull it tight enough that you could actually see through it, and hot glued it down to the inside of the mask's faceplate. And then I covered the whole thing with that same fabric. Time to add the remaining 2 eyeballs. Once again, doing the same method for the teeth. Obviously, these teeth are much larger and there's more of them, so that took some time. But I also painted the inside of the mouth a little bit darker kind of color, just to give it a little more depth. So I'm using wax paper and spray foam for the tongue. Basically, I made a big glob of it. I tried to keep it as much of a triangle shape as I could, but ultimately the good thing about spray foam is that once it dries, it expands and you can carve it down to whatever size your heart desires. So that's what I did. I cut this big glob in half and kind of shaped it up to look like a tongue. Doesn't it look delicious?